Hello, my name is Henning Pauli. This is a NAMM coverage disclaimer. You might not enjoy this video. If you don't, I'm very sorry. It's just what I do.
Tricky one with a foot switch because people, if you make it too cheap, it breaks, and they don't want to pay extra. But we make them so they'll switch with any lashing foot switch. So
yeah, but I've got drawers full of them. But you know, some kid, it's their first tube amp, and then they don't have it, and it's not that they don't go out and buy it afterwards. But if they didn't know it's not included, it's a negative experience, and we don't.
Nowadays, you've got loopers doing all that as well.
Yeah, but again, like I'm talking about like the 17-year-old kid and they don't have a looper.
No, I know, yeah.
Hey, we're already talking here, people. This is Adrian. He's the man behind the fiddly bits inside these amps and transistors and stuff.
This is NAMM 2018. This is the first day.
We're already toast, right?
Well, I'm actually alright today. It's not too bad.
I could go home now.
Unfortunately, you know, you're not allowed to, sorry.
Okay, so, the tough questions. I asked
Cliff... We're not going to let you go home. We're not going to let him go home. He's not going home.
I asked Cliff the nice questions, you get the tough ones.
Okay, hit me.
So, today, by the way, which is not today, which is 2 weeks from when you're seeing this, it's difficult because this video is not coming out for 2 weeks.
Okay.
But today, for us...
This video is under embargo for 2 weeks.
Yes. You know, wibbly-wobbly Doctor Who kind of time travel shit. So today, for us, the Brent Hines review came out, Brent Hines Terror, and I didn't review Brent Hines, but the Brent Hines amp.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
Well, it'd be hard to review Brent Hines. He's an interesting character.
Why do I see gloves on my hands reviewing? I don't know. That's in my head. Okay, so that's this thing.
He's great though. He's a super nice guy, Brent. You know, he's very funny.
The video that you guys released about the amp was seriously funny.
Good.
It was a great video. I loved it.
Yeah. It's good. It's short and sweet as well, right? Which is good.
Very unlike my videos.
It's quite short. I like to keep things under 3 minutes if possible.
The review for this is 27.
Okay.
Then the review for this is probably another 27. And then I have another video coming out next week, which is those two compared next to each other, switching back and forth with an AMPETE switcher.
They're very different.
And that's another, I think, 20 minutes of just comparing every single detail with pedals clean. So you're saying they're very, very different?
They've got the same PCB, just populated differently.
Okay.
You know, it's that is... The Rocker 15 Terror is exactly the same amp as the combo. Mm-hmm. In the circuitry is the same. It's all tube, 100% tube, the effects loop's tube. See, I don't like lying to people. A lot of people that make tube amps, they say it's 100% tube amp. And then they got solid state effects loop. And solid state reverb. And sometimes solid state other things. There's nothing wrong with solid state stuff. Solid state amps are fine, you know. I just don't like mixing them, and I don't like it when companies go, it's 100% tube, and then it's not. You know, a guitar player's never going to forgive anyone that lies to him.
Hell no! Which is why, you know, we call it as it is here on this channel that you're on right now.
So obviously we do solid state amps as well as tube amps, you know. I like to try and keep the solid state in the tube. There are exceptions, like the little Micro Dark, you know. That's got a tube in there that's doing stages 3 and 4 of the distortion, you know, so, and it's only running at 12 volts. Now, I'm not really that keen running tubes at that lower voltage, but if you run them at high voltage, it presents a lot of problems with condensation. If you've got solid state components next to tubes running proper voltage, they're running plus minus 15, the tube's running 200 plus. You know,
it's completely all like, I have no idea what he's talking about because my job is this. You know, that's what I do.
Yeah, but your job will be just that, and you won't hear anything if it goes wrong.
That's correct.
You know, so yeah, it will like that. This will be his job.
So what you're saying is, in those amps, it's all tube?
All tube.
Effect loop?
Effects loop. Everything.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing the solid state is the rectifier, which has been happening in tube amps since 1963. You know, it's been, you know, that's kind of accepted. A tube rectifier I like a lot in certain amps. The 8030 still has tube rectifier. You know, but it's not always helping certain types of amps. You know, and they're high voltage diodes anyway, so you haven't got the problem with condensation. You know, so.
I have to say, I absolutely love. I mean, I did 6 orange amps, reviewed them in like one big week and compared them, especially on the smaller ones. It were the OR15, the Dual Terra. Was it Dual? Yeah. They're all not made really for clean. The clean channel on the rocker is.
Well, it's one stage. So
it's phenomenal. It's great.
The only overdrive you can get on a one-stage preamp is just power amp overdrive.
Yeah. So you crank the shit out of it.
Yeah. So if you turn it up, it will start to get some hair on it. It won't be a lot, but it'll only be the EL84s overdriving. You know.
But I love it that it's as clean as get. You're not even calling it clean. It's not called a clean channel. It's a natural channel. And I think that's perfect. There's no EQ on it. Nothing.
No,
it's just a volume knob, and it is not your. It is not your Fender. It is not your. It's very rich in the mids.
Yeah.
There isn't huge amounts of bass.
No, that's right.
But it's just a very sweet, different clean. And once you play it and you realize, wait, I don't want a twin. I'm gonna let this channel convince me. At that moment, it has you, and you put some reverb and some delay on it, and you're very, very happy.
Yeah.
So. Well, let's talk about the difference first, and then we're going to go into the Rocker 32. So how would you describe the difference between these two?
Okay, well, it's the main difference is the dirty channel on these, you know, between each one. This is the Rocker 15, so the gain starts clean up to about there.
Yes.
Then it will go through classic crunch, and then it will go to full-on saturation. But even when it's on full-on saturation, the bottom end will still be quite tight and playable. It won't crap out, you know. Whereas the Brent is not like that. The gain, as soon as you whack a bit in,
it's right there.
It's tearing up upper mid-band, like, you know, it's kicking in. And then as you turn it up, it fattens up.
You can dial in a lot more detailed nuances with the gain, whereas here you have the full gain range from clean to super drive.
Yeah. So they're very different in that way.
The volume also here, you have to get them to the same volume. You have to crank the volume up there, whereas you have to turn it down there. So this seems to be because of where the gain is.
I'm tearing into the power amp on the Brent. You know, so I'm basically the volume is pushing into the later stages harder to get that sound, you know, and it's based on a mod that I did on about 100 amps since 1985 of another manufacturer. I did these I used to mod amps back in the 80s and 90s as well, and it's based on that mod. There's a channel based on that mod, basically, so that's where it comes from.
It does, and this is in no way a negative. When you compare them, this sounds brighter, more open, less compressed. Whereas as soon as you switch to the Rocker, it feels a bit as if there's something like a light piece of velvet over it. It's rounded off. The highs on the Rocker are a little bit more rounded off.
So the Rocker's sweeter.
And I would say if you want a classic orange sound, that's the Rocker 15.
Yeah.
If you want something very rock and roll and untamed, that's more the Brent Hines.
That's the idea.
And that is really, other than that, they're identical, but that's the difference. You want a little bit more rock and roll, that's the Brent Hines.
Yeah.
You want more saturated, a little bit more tamed classic orange, then that's
obviously the natural channel on the Rocker 15, if you turn it all the way up, it's got a little more bottom end taken off coming in, Whereas that, I've left it in.
See, I didn't hear that in my comparison because I didn't crank them up. I didn't go that loud on the natural channel. That's why.
There is a difference on both channels, though. Deliberately, you know, I figured that's great for paperback writer if you flat it out on the natural channel, you know. Whereas that's kind of cooler, probably for pedal boards where you got maybe some drives that are taking off a bit of bottom, and that has kind of got a lot more bottom coming in, and it kind of compensates for it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanted them to be two different animals.
Both of them are great pedal amps, which can't be said about every Orange amp. You know, a lot of them, if they really can't be very clean, then you know, I mean, then you can't get cleans out of them. So, of course, if you use your pedals to drive the amp more, then having a bit of drive is fine. But as a pedal platform, these are amazing. Which brings us to the Rocker 32, which is just the pedal platform amp.
That's quite nice for Strymons.
I mean,
you know, there's a lot of people making kind of cool stereo delays at the moment. Them being one of them. And I had that in mind with that amp.
One of the things that I did in my Rocker 32 video was the Neo Instruments ventilator rotary, full stereo going rotary, and that through a Strymon reverb.
How did that sound?
Huge sound.
It's interesting, that combo, because you know, stereo rigs take up a bit of space, and you know, I wanted something that was one box. You know, that wouldn't be any bigger than just a smallish combo.
It's small and it's lightweight.
It's not that heavy.
No,
I mean, you know, it is ply. It's, you know, it's.
Okay, but now I'm gonna go into my mode where I'm the reviewer and not the Orange product pusher, because I got Adrian here. So I'm gonna ask him the things that I said in those reviews. Rocker 15.
Yeah.
Where's the Rocker 32 Terra? I want the Rocker 32 as a head.
There's an issue with it.
Go.
The issue is, if you do it in a head, you've got to have a load.
What? They have to connect two speakers.
Yeah, but people are idiots. They won't do it. They'll forget, and we'll get them back where they've blown the output stage where no speaker's been connected.
Can't you put a load inside?
Space. And it would have to be quite a big resistor.
How about a big-ass warning label? Don't be a dumbass, connect two speakers.
Well, you know, we sell to the general public, so I don't really want to say anything detrimental about people, really, you know. But
your potential customers.
Yeah, well, but it will happen. They will come. There will be one come back where the output stage on one side's gone down, where someone hasn't hooked up the second cab, you know. So that's why.
Is there a technical way around that?
There probably is, but it's probably going to push up the price.
Wait. I'm just. The Synergy power amp, Synergy system power amp is 100 watts.
Yeah.
And but it's 2 times 50, and you can bridge it to 100. Yeah. What if you had those 4 EL84s, 32 watts on one side, bridged, and then you flip the switch, and that's where you have a stereo.
Well, it's different on the Rocker 32, because if you notice that amp, even when you're using it straight in and you've got nothing in the effects loop, it sounds big. And the reason for that is there's 2 effects returns. One of them, I put a cathode follower on, which is the way you configure a tube. The other one I didn't. So as they hit each output stage, they hit slightly different.
Okay.
And that makes the amp sound bigger. It's like a tiny bit towards being double tracked, even when you use it mono. And I can't really speak for any other manufacturer's stuff, but that's a different principle.
Okay.
You see, it's not being hit in the same way. Do you see what I'm saying? The bridging thing is...
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it's pretty difficult to do. What I'm saying is, that's what we want, so you figure it out.
Yeah.
Just tell me that you think about it.
Yeah.
1 or 2 sleepless nights, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, you'll think about it.
Yeah, but I also, you know, I like to keep repairs down. And I've got my boys next door in my workshop. I've got my R&D workshop, and then I've got my repair techs there, you know.
Hey,
So I see everything that comes back, and I keep a close eye on anything. And if it's a repeat offender, I address it straight away for future production, you know. And that's how you keep the quality up, you know. So at the moment, the Rocker 32 is just a combo.
So on the Rocker 32, my biggest pet peeve with it does sound phenomenal. Whatever you do, drive, clean, stereo. But the real stereo effect comes not when you're sitting in front of it, because it's still hitting you straight out. The stereo effect is when you put a second speaker over there. So you're spreading the stereo field.
I disagree. I can really hear the stereo. If something's used in stereo in the effects loop, I can really hear it. I can hear it in the next room.
It is absolutely better than not stereo. But if, as a guitar player, something coming from there or there, you're swimming in a sea of sound.
Yeah, well, you could. I mean, you know, the speaker's detachable, so you could plug two cabs in.
Oh, and I've done this. I've done this in my video.
Yeah, you can do that.
But what happens, and that's my thing. What happens is when you disconnect one of those cabs, you're cutting your combo in half because you only have a 110.
That's right.
So you
could do two cabs. You could do two 4x12s if you wanted.
Yes,
or two
but what
if you're gonna go stereo, you probably you know.
But isn't it possible? I disconnect that speaker.
Yeah.
And then plug it in over here, and all of a sudden my combo is my left side, but both speakers, and my other speaker is my right side.
Space is the issue. We couldn't fit any more jacks on that back panel. We couldn't. But it's quite a small chassis. It's about that big in there, you know, and you know that's why we haven't hooked up the 8s on the transformer. We just got 16 and 16. We didn't really have any choice. I mean, it is on the transformer. The wire is there, and it's going to a blank-off area. But it's, you know, we only had space for the two jacks.
Because it made me kind of sad, because I'm like, I have my combo here, and it's 210, and then I have like a 112 cab or whatever over here. But as soon as I connect that, my combo is cut in half. And you could actually sell a 210 cab for the right side, to the combo here with my 210, but I would need a way to bridge that second speaker to be then mono.
I mean, the idea of the Rocker 32 really is for people doing smallish gigs, or any gigs really. I mean, these days with the in-ear thing,
it gets loud.
You don't need that much power. You don't need like 50 watts or 100 watts, you know. Although it's still nice to have that power sometimes, you know. But the idea is it takes up a reasonably small stage footprint, and you could have the sound guy, the monitor guy, put two mics on it, and then you could stereo front of house hearing it.
Absolutely, no question about that. You know. You put two Sennheisers in front of that thing, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
As a guitar player, you experience the stereo wider when it's wider apart.
Yeah.
So
like any stereo.
Yeah.
It will always be that way.
And for just experiencing it that way, I wanted my cab on the other side, but then I realized, wait a second, now I only have half the combo.
Yeah,
I'm like, the space I get. Okay, while we're here. But then I asked, okay, no, that's the argument for the other thing again. I asked Charlie, the chassis for the 32 looks like it's as big as the one for the 15. It sits kind of in the middle.
Slightly different. It looks kind of cool if you take it out of the box. You've seen it out of the box.
No,
32.
no.
Does look.
But in terms of the width of it, it looks as if it could fit into like a 112.
Well, that cab. I mean, it's not a massive 210 cab. We could do it as a 112. It's just that obviously. I'll have to play about with it. It might be fine if I link. You know, I'll have to look into the impedances and see what would happen if I bridged.
Because my idea would have been, you know? if the 32 was a 112 combo, bridged, and then you just offer a 112 cab to put over here, and then I connect that. But it's technically
But that's not the point of the Rocker 32. The Rocker 32 is about one piece to carry.
Yeah, well, okay, and it is very convenient. You're right.
It's convenience. Yeah. It's a convenient stereo rig. the monitor guy can put 2 mics in front of it, and you're good. You got your stereo out front.
I'm just thinking you've got something really awesome that no one else has. There are no stereo valve amps on the market, other than 2 other ones that are way, way expensive and have 4-channel mega something, the Dietzel VH4S, and the Koch something, Supertone something.
No, I think there's some Magnetone stuff as well with tremolo.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's not cheap, but it's good. Yeah, I like this stuff. That stuff's good. Billy Gibbons is using. I don't think his one's stereo, but there's some Magnetones that are, and I think they're all combos. They got stereo trem.
Okay.
Tube driven.
I gotta go to Magnetone and check that out. But there isn't a lot of stereo stuff out there. So
no, there isn't.
What you have, and in the price point that you have it in, it's phenomenally good.
Yeah, it's on tube as well.
And I think it could appeal to a few more people if it was, let's call it a little bit more of an expanded range. Not just the one combo, but like a 112 with an extra cab or head.
Yeah, I'll have a little play about when I get back.
I'll keep bugging you about this in the years to come. I'm just telling you.
I know you will, Henning. Yeah, I know you will. I'll have a little look at it, but
I don't care about you guys. I want this. I want it.
He wants it.
Just make me one.
I know. Well, you know, we can. The idea behind that is convenience.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, there's more people doing fly-in shows, and you know, smaller backline. People are gigging with smaller backlines. Some people are using like cab sim stuff live. Mm. You know, so you know, we kind of really do mainly analog stuff. You know, it's all analog. We don't really do the digital modelling thing that much. You know, it's more.
Yeah, way to go, by the way, on that one.
Well, there's enough people doing that, yeah. So you know, I don't want to be a Me Too sale. You know, it's like
you do orange. That's it.
We kind of do it the way we do it, and but I'm always conscious of the way the industry is going, and you know, venues getting smaller, transport, stuff like that, convenience, and it is going a little like that, just worldwide, really. You know, you got labels that aren't. I mean, I'm surprised labels exist because they seem to be doing 360 deals, and these kids are still. They're sort of looking at their record collection and going, you know, how much money was around in the 80s, you know, and massive budgets, you know. There was it was, you know, your merch was your own then.
Yeah.
You know, everything was your own.
Times have changed a lot.
You know, and so really, my message to the kids is put your record out yourself, get a bank loan, because a label's just going to take all your money off you. And they're not really going to lend you any money, but they're going to want to take a load now. Yep. So I don't see that.
Back in the day, there were budgets to make the album, and that's why you needed the label.
And budgets to get very heavy equipment from A to B. You know.
And nowadays, you don't need that. You can pretty much produce your own album for little. I mean, if you have some buddies that know what they're doing.
Yeah, and you got to have the right mic pre's and good mic pre's and stuff, because interface mic pre's don't have the headroom that good mic pre's have, because they got smaller rails, right? So you got like a converter interface. You know, it's running on different rails. Converters run on quite low rails, quite small. So the mic pre's, if you've got something really loud going into an SM57, they're probably going to distort, and that is, you know, it's kind of noticeable for recording these days. It's really overlooked. Is microphone preamps. It's really overlooked.
But I mean, today, if you had 10, 20 grand and you buy like a Universal Audio 6176 or something from Manley, you get a really kick-ass mic pre.
I don't think so. No? I think it needs a proper mic pre. Nothing against Universal Audio. I'd go into that.
No. What I'm saying is they're analog hardware.
Yeah.
The 6176 is like an actual.
You mean the mic pre with the EQ on it and that?
That's an M. That's a 610 mic pre and an 1176. Yeah. That's why I've got one of those.
1176. Yeah. We got effect compressor on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
again,
then get 1 or 2 great mic pre's.
Yeah.
Get a couple good mics.
Yeah.
Get a killer audio interface like the Universal Audio.
Yeah.
But you still need to know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, you do need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
we're talking about,
and you need a good sounding room, and you need to know where to place the mics and what mics to place. So,
but today we're talking about 10 to 30 grand, and you can actually get a very nice setup to record versus an album costing 300K, years ago. And even if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it.
Yeah.
Or take the money and then if you have the tracks and you record them halfway decent,
sure.
get it mixed.
Yeah.
But those huge budgets that were necessary are not.
Yeah.
I was in New York.
We're still going back to vinyl now.
Yeah. I was in New York for a session where the catering budget for the album was 70 grand. 70 grand for the food.
Yeah.
Those times are over.
Yeah.
That's absolutely not happening anymore.
Yeah, but this is my point. When there's budgets, there isn't the budgets available to move seriously heavy gear from A to B. So it's about convenience and stuff you can do fly-in shows with and stuff like that. Ryanair, it needs whatever you use needs to fit in a Ryanair cabin.
You can't take shit on Ryanair.
I know, you can't even take a skateboard.
I want to see you go on Ryanair with the Rocker 32 and saying, "I'm taking that in the cabin."
No, I know. You're not going to do that, but like small signal stuff that you can do a fly-in show with. That's kind of the way it's going.
But this, in the case that it comes with, which is very nice, you can take on a plane, not a problem.
Yeah, that will fit in the bottom of your Ryanair suitcase, and then you'll be able to get a few shirts in there as well, and some,
I'll play without a shirt, and that is more rock and roll.
Yeah, well, whatever else you want to take. You're not going to be able to take booze on Ryanair.
I never tried that.
Nah, you probably won't get away with that. And you can't take skateboards, and I'm gutted about that because they fly to Barcelona. And Barcelona is great for skateboarding. And if I fly there on Ryanair, I can't take a skateboard.
They don't let you take a skateboard? Why?
Have you seen the pavement in Barcelona? It's perfect.
Really?
It's skateboarding heaven. Barcelona is skateboarding heaven. So Ryanair, if you're listening to this, let people get skateboards on the plane.
I had no idea. And with that, we're going to say bye-bye. Thanks so much, Adrian. This was awesome. Animals at the end. And piss off now. Bye, guys. I love you so much, really. Just don't piss off. Just click the next video, please, at the end, after the animals. Bye-bye.
Self